Malaysia's new energy transition is speeding up and technology is right at the center. With ABB's new survey shows 70% of companies believe AI, automations and digitalizations are the key drivers of a low carbon future. And also most businesses from the survey showing are already investing more than 10% of their CAPEX for energy transitions, and also nearly 80% expect their renewable energy to rise sharply in the next 5 years. But also we know alongside progress comes also with risks, and especially in cybersecurity. And what are some of the gaps in private and public partnership, or even we can say collaborations? And to discuss further with me now from ABB is Abi Harikumar, Vice President of ABB's Energy Industries Division Southeast Asia. How are you, Abi?
Good, thank you. Thank you so much for having me today.
All right, no worries. Thank you so much for joining me. Maybe we can talk about the recent surveys of ABB. Before we jump into the survey, maybe you can share with us what is ABB?
Excellent. Well, thank you. Look, ABB, we are a global technology provider and we've been around for over 130 years. We have an employee base of over 105,000 employees and we operate in over 100 countries around the world. Specifically, the division or business that I work for is the Energy Industries Division of ABB. So we serve customers and industries right across from oil, gas, chemicals, power sector, life sciences and water. So we work right across the board to bring new solutions and service within that industry.
Maybe share with us ABB's new survey. In terms of, we are seeing a lot of companies, most organization is taking a look at AI on automation and especially in energy transition, powered by AI and energy. Can you explain to us what is the purpose of this survey?
Yeah, so we decided to undertake an Energy Transition Readiness Index, a survey basically to do a little bit of a stock take of where we are as an industry, where we are as a sector, towards making progress in the energy transition journey towards a net zero future. So we thought this is a very good moment in time to undertake this after undergoing through this journey for several years. So we wanted to get a feel for what industry leaders are saying. So we decided to undertake this survey.
And from the survey shows that 71% of Malaysians business cite AI and automations as a key of energy transition. Usually, what are actually happening on the ground, especially when the context AI use case?
Absolutely. Look, firstly, I would like to say, technology is starting to play more and more of a heavy role in forming the energy transition and serving as a little bit of a catalyst to make the transition move faster. AI, we all know, has been developing at a rapid pace. So what we are doing with ABB is to incorporate AI into our automation systems to make them smarter, to make decision making easier. But at the end of the day, the goal is to save energy and enable our customers and industry to operate much more leaner and cleaner.
In Malaysia's context, what are the biggest AI gap? And taking a look at Malaysia's speed, are we investing fast enough comparing to our region neighbors like Singapore or even from the South Korea?
I think what the study showed is that companies, leaders are putting aside capital, right, towards driving energy transition projects. So this capital, I think the survey showed that at least 10% of their CAPEX is being put aside to drive these projects forward. Now the big question is, what can we do with that money to fast track it? How can we incorporate technology? How can we incorporate AI to make smarter decisions? An example I can easily give you as well is, we all know that green energy is going to be added more and more to the grid, but we also know that even at 2050, when we reach our net zero goals here in Malaysia, 30% is still going to come from traditional energy sources. So we cannot forget the existing industries that are there at the moment. And what can we do to make those industries run more efficient right now? So an example of that at ABB we are bringing to our customers is through our solution with asset performance management through our ABB Ability GenX platform. So what this essentially is we put smart sensors right across the fleet in power stations and refineries, etc. And that data that comes back, our system using AI can analyze the data and predict when things are going to fail. It can also give you indication of which of the equipment perhaps is not operating at the efficiency levels that it can, and it can help drive decisions to increase that efficiency. Now the beauty of this is when you increase efficiency, of course there's a cost benefit, but we also decarbonize, and what I mean by that is the greenest form of energy that you can use is the energy that you don't use, right? So that's the beauty of this. So that's one example of how we are using AI and technology to make our existing operations leaner and cleaner.
Correct, to increase efficiency and productivity. That is a very essential elements. And also talking about on CAPEX and industry readiness, where you mentioned also from the survey showing most of the companies already investing 10% for the CAPEX into energy transitions, and within helping the industry and from their readiness level or phase, which sectors are leading and which sectors are lagging?
So what I can say is, yeah, it's quite a bit of capital that's being put aside. The leading industries are definitely in oil and gas, power, generators as well. So there's a lot of money there. The big question now is how can we use that money to really drive good outcomes, right? In terms of decarbonisation, customers meeting their sustainability agenda. So the money is there. So what we would like to do is engage early on the piece to come up with solutions that can really provide the necessary return on investment. So we have examples where we have worked very early to bring our advanced process control solution into a refinery to basically optimize the steam usage, right? And what this has allowed is our customers being able to have a return of investment less than 1 year, which is extremely fast, and significant amount of cost saving per year on a yearly basis, right? So these are sort of projects that we have to look at to drive and to really use that 10% capital to get the best, what we call bang for the buck, right? So
is that 10% enough for Malaysia to meet the National Energy Transition Roadmap for 2030 and 2050, or we still have a lot to do?
I think, look, the thing is, first thing is, what can we do with that 10%, right? Before we can answer that question, let's really utilize that funds that is available there to drive meaningful solution. Once we start generating that return of investment, we start scaling up the benefits of existing operation, we start bringing on green energy sources, and then we start building from there.
And also, this is a very important phase to make sure they understand where are we going, where are the transitioning from start till the end of our efforts. But also, I want to take a look on cybersecurity and the OT risk, operational technology risk that we talked before this discussion. With 93% claiming they are prepared. But how confident should we be in Malaysia for energy cybersecurity, and what is ABB assessment of the real level risk?
Yeah, so I think cybersecurity is one of those areas that is constantly evolving in terms of threats now with the increased usage of AI as well. So I think it's extremely critical that we continue to monitor those risks, come across as an industry. So recently ABB in Malaysia itself, we partnered with Petronas's PINSA community to bring 60 of our end users into the ABB office, and we spoke about this very topic because IT/OT are starting to converge. What we ended up doing is sharing our best practices in terms of risk assessment in cybersecurity. And one of the key things I say, I think cybersecurity is one of those areas that's becoming a little bit like the traditional safety, where there are no secrets in safety. I think we need to get that mindset. There are no secrets in cybersecurity. We need to work as a community to really utilize the best practices. Now, in terms of ABB, we have a cybersecurity portfolios of solutions, which really helps customers bring together different systems and have it in one place where we can analyze the cybersecurity health of the various systems that can be deployed, which makes it easy for end users. But we also have solutions that enable us to undertake proactive threat detection as well, network health, so that we are constantly bringing these technologies there to make the entire ecosystem more secure.
And from your observation throughout the survey, throughout the findings and collaborations with public and private organizations, what are the weakest link for Malaysia's digitalizations, energy digitalizations? Is it the people, the process, or even the outdated tech?
I would more turn that into what are the biggest opportunities that we see, right? So I think it's a mix of things. So again, we always have been talking about collaboration being a key to drive energy transition. Now, what we mean by that, it's a mix. I mean, when you look at the workforce of the future, the green workforce that we need to start investing in that today. So from an ABB perspective, we have a great partnership with the University of Petronas that's ongoing to really develop that future talent. So that's one piece, right? The other piece as well is really looking at utilizing the existing technology available today to evaluate the feasibility of some of the projects and concepts that's available out there. For example, we have digital twin is something that's utilized heavily, and we have global partnerships around the world that enable us to model a particular operation or technology prior to the project moving ahead. So this enables, I guess, the project team to basically evaluate risk, how things are going to behave, and also the return on investment that can be there as well. So it's a combination of things, but the important thing is to get around the table and start discussing, where are the opportunities that's going to allow us to fast track that transition.
We have been talking a lot about AI, automations, and all these studies, surveys, and the impact towards people, organizations. But I want to also add on the energy transition, maybe emphasize more on this. We know that solar people are expected to lead the transition, but hydropower, hydrogen, and also wind is gaining traction. And we know that it's globally, it's happening. But for Malaysia context, what realistically will dominate Malaysia's mix energy maybe in the next decade?
I think it's a very difficult thing to say one source is going to dominate, right? It's we need to be open to a range of energy sources to fuel the demand. What I can say in Malaysia is that, again, that hunger for energy is continuing to rise. We can all agree on that. So it's going to be a mix of sources that's going to come into the grid. And we're moving more and more towards having a centralized way of generating power to a more decentralized network. That adds complexity. So now we're talking about infrastructure that needs to be smart to enable the incorporation of renewable energy sources into the grid. So again, from an ABB perspective, we are having early discussions to see how can we manage that ecosystem effectively through technology solutions that we have, such as ABB Optimax, for example, which allows us to model solar coming into the grid, whether to use the solar power or whether we use the grid for an end user. So that ability to react based on weather data that's out there or pricing of electricity to make smarter decisions to make sure it's cost effective, but also to reduce energy at the end of the day. So it's going to be, I'm very excited to see what the next 10 years is, right? What the grid's going to look like. It's going to be very different to what it is today.
Correct, and we have a lot of work to do now. And also we need more push and more supports from the whole phase, from the whole public-private, the whole nation approach. But specifically on, from the surveys also talks about where 63% of organizations want stronger government incentive. But what specific industry urgently need from this incentive?
Look, from an ABB perspective, we're not in the best place to advise on policy, but what I can say, it's always going to be a balance of a sticks and carrot approach, right? Where we offer incentives or, there's some sort of penalties. That's a balance that governments and other people need to make. But given the regulatory frameworks, policies that's there, we are very, very keen to see how can technology support that transition, right? And that's where we're going to play a more and more active role in Malaysia.
All right, Abi, maybe my last questions. What is ABB next upcoming big project for 2025? We're ending 2025. Oh, no. Share with us straight for 2026.
I know, time is flying. Look, we're working with multiple customers right across Malaysia to obviously build renewable projects. There's no question about that through our automation, digital and electrical integration into these projects. But we're also working heavily with our existing infrastructure that's there to make them operate a lot cleaner by modernizing the existing systems. This could be as simple as upgrading a motor to a more efficient motor, instantly gaining efficiency gain, but it also involves us upgrading the automation system within these plants, because by upgrading it and bringing it to the latest technology, it allows us to add digital solutions that are becoming more and more available. And that's going to allow us to take that next step forward towards getting to that net zero journey.
Definitely that journey. ABB's finding also make one thing clear: AI, automations and strong collaboration will decide our energy future moving forward. Again, I want to say thank you very much to our guest, Bihari Kumar, Vice President of ABB's Energy Industry Division, Southeast Asia. Prettily, we are very excited for the next upcoming project. Again, we say thank you very much. And we can see that Malaysia's energy transition is moving, but the next leap will depend on how fast we adopt technology and how well we protect it. Definitely all of the discussion here will be featured in AstroAwani.com and across all social media platforms. And that's it from me. I'm Nina Rosman. See you next time.